This is me on Casualty.
Yeah, probably. I'm not surprised.
I feel like I look the same. Probably look a lot older than I did there. This was a lesson in it's not who gets offered the part first, it's who gets offered the part last. Because I had auditioned for this role and didn't get it, someone else got it. And then they tried to bring her back and she was sick. So they asked me to come in and I was like, yes. So it was a really good example of it doesn't matter how long it took or whatever route it took to get the role. I went in, I had never filmed properly. I'd done one day on something else and was like, whoa, this is amazing. And basically I had a really good time. Casualty is very big in the UK. People love the show and I really loved being on it. I felt like I learned a lot. I had a really nice time. Yeah, so I'm very grateful for that job. Oh yes, I know this picture. This is the read-through for the first Star Wars film. I did go for about 15 wheeze because I was so nervous. It was really strange because it had been a secret for 3 months. I hadn't told like anyone but my family. And then there was like the time where this was supposed to come out. So I knew there was a time that I could tell people. And then it sort of got delayed a few minutes. So I had texted people going, oh, by the way, this thing's happening. And I was so scared about telling anyone that I shouldn't have told. And then it didn't come out. And I thought, oh my God, I've told someone something I shouldn't have done. After this read-through, me and John went to rehearse with JJ because JJ was like, that was not great. So we literally had to go and rehearse straight away. He was like, okay, because the nerves were so strong. But yes, very happy. Just sat there between Harrison and Carrie. I actually remember after the premiere of the first film, I went to the bathroom and I was like queuing for the bathroom and someone was like, oh my God. And I was like, oh, okay. I think the reality was, even though I was in this, I don't think people realised the role was quite significant. So actually it was when people saw it, that's when it felt like people sort of were seeing me in a different way. Not everyone's going to love everything that you do. You know, how people receive things is very personal. And I don't have much to do with that side of things because I'm just doing my job. I found that lockdown actually was quite important for me because I think there was a lot that I hadn't processed and like very emotional, and there was so much going on that I felt, particularly because the last film had just come out. So even though I was in the tornado for a moment, then I just go but I loved making all 3 films and I'm very happy to get to do it again. Oh, here I am.
My celebration!
Yes, that was actually quite last minute. I was actually making my own film last year and Kathy Kennedy said she wanted to have breakfast and I thought we were just having breakfast. So I was literally eating my breakfast and she said, oh, we might do another one. I was like, okay. So I thought about it for a little bit. Once I knew what the story was and everything, I knew that it was something I really wanted to do. I think it's a really fantastic exploration of the Star Wars world. It's a really cool way of taking the story on in a bit of a different direction. But it was very strange. It took me back to being 20 because, again, I couldn't tell anyone. So, like, I went to my mum's house and was like, Mum, and she was like, how are we doing this again? And then my husband was filming in LA, so he wasn't awake. I was like, would you wake up so I can tell you? And then it was all strange because it was all sort of secretive again. And then I came out on stage and it was very much not secretive anymore. But it was wonderful. And the thing about those conventions are everyone is really lovely and everyone's really lovely to each other. And I think a lot of the time people online sort of make out there is discourse or whatever it is that actually isn't shared by a lot of people. And my experience has always been very welcomed. People have been very kind. Even if they wanted the story to go here or there or everywhere, it's always like a conversation that's respectful. So it was quite lovely to come out and give people a nice surprise. Yeah, nice. This is me with Mr. and Mrs. Wormwood. Matilda is my favourite film. And actually the film I made last year, because of Matilda, I named my child in it Matilda as my love letter to Danny DeVito's Matilda. And I remember meeting Danny DeVito at a party and literally being like, oh my God, it's Danny DeVito. And I was like, literally, what's happening? And then he said Morgan, and Morgan Freeman was there. It was like, when everything is so, you're like, I'm not alive. Like, this is some alternate universe. This can't be real. But meeting him was a real thrill. Yeah, I just have a real pure love for Matilda. Only yesterday. Strangely enough, I was thinking about this last week because I went to go and see My Neighbour Totoro at the Barbican in London. I'd wanted to go and see it, and it was like sold out forever, and it sold out, and then it went away, and then it came back. It is one of the most amazing things I've ever seen on stage. So that was literally last week. And I was thinking about it only yesterday. I think it was the last film that hadn't been translated of Ghibli at that time. And it's Takahata, so it's not the Miyazaki side of films. I'm sure my American accent was terrible in it. I haven't watched it for some time. But I love Studio Ghibli films so much.
27 is too old to be picky.
Oh, thanks a lot.
And it's like a true and profound honour that I got to be a voice for one of the characters. The thing is about this film is Fran does not want to die. She's just imagining what it might be like, what it would feel like for her body to be in the earth, what it would feel like for her brain. Do you have thoughts? Do you not have thoughts? Do you go somewhere else? So yes, I too love these stylized moments, this and the snake and the forest. And then the one with the bugs on the hand, they were real bugs. And I remember thinking, because it was actually like the strangest feeling to have something sort of crawling all over you. Because also the rest of the film is about someone's life, like it's an ordinary life. So it was interesting to do these things, which were much more stylized, yeah. There was supposed to be voiceover throughout the whole film that they ended up taking out after they had edited the film. So actually reading it, it was really clear to me who she was because I was reading the voiceover as stage directions. And I had a director many years ago on a TV show I did who said, a camera can read your thoughts. So that's what I've always taken into account when I'm working. Strangely, I've never done a film that has like loads and loads of talking actually. And I did a film where I asked to have less talking, and the script supervisor said to me she had never had an actor ask for less lines. So it didn't feel strangely like she was so quiet, but watching it I was like, wow, yeah, I really do not say too much. Oh, Barbara Streisand! What a woman. So I met Barbara because she's actually very good friends with J.J. Abrams. So he had invited her to the premiere of The Force Awakens. I'd gone to her house to have tea, which is honestly so surreal. We actually talked about, I don't know if I've said this publicly, but she was meant to be doing the film of Gypsy. So I was going to potentially test to be in Gypsy with her. And then I don't know what's going on with that. So we were talking about that, which is sort of what I thought it was. And then she said, and do you want to be on my album? And I was like, okay, like that'll ever happen. And then I presented at the Oscars, which was a couple months later, and it was all organised by some like miracle. And I remember thinking, what's actually happening? Like, this is crazy. So I went on the Friday and then went on the Saturday, and I was so nervous and everything. I actually sang with her, which is crazy, because even though she was outside the recording booth, one of the most surreal things that's ever happened. She's just wonderful. She's really like, I can't imagine there are many people on this earth like her.